"Please don't take my brother," she cried, the cowboy said. "Then I'll take you both home." The sun was beginning to dip behind the hills, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink. The air was warm, carrying the faint scent of hay and dust from the nearby fields. In a small, worn-down house at the edge of the countryside, a young girl named Emily was pacing back and forth, her heart pounding with fear. Her younger brother, Liam, was just 8 years old, and he had a habit of wandering off when she wasn't looking. Today, he had gone further than usual, and now the consequences were about to come crashing down. Emily's hands trembled as she gripped the edge of the wooden table. She had tried calling Liam, shouting his name across the fields, but there had been no reply. Her stomach twisted with worry. What if he had gotten hurt? What if someone had taken him? She couldn't bear the thought of losing him. Outside, the wind rustled through the tall grass, and Emily imagined every possible danger lurking beyond the fence. She knew the countryside could be unforgiving. There were steep cliffs, wild animals, and most importantly, adults who didn't understand the way children sometimes wandered out of curiosity. Emily remembered the stories she had heard from neighbors, children taken away because someone thought they were unsafe. The thought made her chest tighten. She couldn't let that happen to Liam. He was her only family, aside from their mother who had passed away when he was very young. Her mind raced, and she realized there was only one person she could trust to help them. The cowboy who lived down the road, Mr. Carter. He was a kind man, respected by everyone in the town, and known for helping people when they were in trouble. Emily didn't know why he had such a reputation, but she had seen it with her own eyes, neighbors praising him, children running to him for help, people saying he always did the right thing. Without another second to waste, Emily grabbed her jacket and ran out the door, calling Liam's name as she sprinted across the dry dirt road. Her bare feet kicked up little clouds of dust, and her voice grew hoarse from shouting. She ran past the old barn, the chicken coop, and finally reached the edge of the woods where the tall trees cast long shadows over the ground. "Liam," she cried again. "Where are you?" Her voice echoed through the trees, but there was no response. Panic gripped her chest, making it hard to breathe. She felt a lump form in her throat. "Please, please don't let anything happen to him," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. Just then, she saw a figure approaching from the distance. The man was tall, wearing a wide-brimmed hat and riding a horse. Emily recognized him immediately, Mr. Carter, the cowboy. Relief flooded through her, but it was mixed with desperation. She ran toward him, waving her arms frantically. "Mr. Carter," she shouted. "Please don't take my brother. He's only a kid and I can't." Her voice broke, and she fell to her knees, sobbing. Mr. Carter stopped his horse a few feet away, looking at her with calm, steady eyes. He dismounted, his boots crunching on the dry earth, and knelt down so he was at her level. His expression was kind but serious. "Slow down, Emily," he said gently. "Tell me what happened." Emily took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She explained everything, the way Liam had wandered off, how she couldn't find him, and how she feared someone might take him away because they thought he was unsafe. Her words tumbled out in a rush, mixed with tears. Mr. Carter listened patiently, nodding. When she finished, he placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I understand," he said. "I'll help you, don't worry." Emily looked up at him, her eyes wide with hope. You can help us?" she asked. Mr. Carter gave a small nod. "Yes, but we need to find Liam first." "Do you know where he might have gone?" Emily shook her head. I just know he loves to explore near the old creek. He might be there." "All right," Mr. Carter said. "Then that's where we'll start. Come on." He led Emily through the trees, moving with quiet confidence. Emily followed, clutching his arm for support. The woods were thick, and the shadows were growing longer as the sun continued to set. Every rustle of leaves made Emily jump, but she trusted Mr. Carter to protect them. After a few minutes of searching, they heard a faint sound, the unmistakable cry of a young boy. Emily's heart leapt. "Liam!" she shouted. They ran toward the sound and soon saw him near the creek, trying to climb a slippery bank. He looked frightened and alone, his small frame shaking as he struggled to get back onto solid ground. "Liam, it's okay, we're here," Emily called, rushing to him. Mr. Carter stepped forward and extended his hand. "Take my hand, son, I'll help you." Liam hesitated for a moment, then grabbed the cowboy's hand. Mr. Carter lifted him carefully, guiding him back to safety. Emily wrapped her arms around her brother, hugging him tightly as tears streamed down her face. I thought I'd lost you," she whispered, burying her face in his hair. "You're safe now," Mr. Carter said softly. "Nothing is going to happen to you while we're here." They made their way back through the trees, Liam holding tightly to Emily's hand. "Mr. Carter walked beside them, scanning the surroundings, ensuring no danger was near. Emily felt a growing sense of relief, but also knew that their problems weren't fully over. Authorities might still get involved, and she worried about what would happen next. When they reached the open field near the main road, Emily saw the lights of the town flickering in the distance. She realized they weren't far from safety, but her worry didn't completely fade. She glanced at Mr. Carter, who was adjusting his hat and looking around calmly. "You're brave, Emily," he said. "You came for your brother even when you were scared. That takes courage." Emily managed a small smile. I couldn't let anything happen to him. He's all I have left." Mr. Carter nodded. "And you did the right thing. Now we'll make sure both of you get home safely." Emily felt a wave of gratitude and hope wash over her. For the first time in hours, she allowed herself to breathe. She knew that with Mr. Carter by their side, they had a chance to be safe. She held Liam's hand tighter, feeling the warmth of his small fingers wrapped around hers. As they walked toward the road, Emily couldn't help but notice how the sky was changing. The orange and pink hues had deepened into shades of purple and blue, signaling that night was coming. She hoped that tomorrow would bring peace and safety for her brother, and she silently prayed that they could finally return to their home without further trouble. "Mr. Carter looked at both children and smiled faintly. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll take you both home. You'll be safe." Emily felt tears prick her eyes again, but this time they were tears of relief. She knew that the journey was not over, but for the first time, she believed that everything might be okay. The trio continued walking, the sound of their steps blending with the rustling of the grass and the distant call of birds returning to their nests. Emily glanced at Liam, who was walking quietly beside her, his fear slowly giving way to trust. She squeezed his hand gently, silently promising to protect him no matter what. And as they approached the edge of the field where the road to their home began, Emily realized that courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about moving forward even when fear gripped your heart. With Mr. Carter by their side, she felt that courage growing stronger with every step. That evening, as the sun disappeared completely and the first stars appeared in the sky, Emily knew one thing for certain. She would never give up on her brother, and with the cowboys' help, they would face whatever challenges came next together. The cowboy, Mr. Carter led Emily and Liam carefully along the dirt road, his horse walking steadily beside them. The evening air had grown cooler, carrying the earthy scent of grass and soil after the heat of the day. Emily held Liam's hand tightly, making sure he didn't wander off again. She glanced at Mr. Carter, feeling both nervous and grateful. She had never met anyone like him before, strong, calm, and kind all at once. "Are you tired, Liam?" Emily asked, gently looking down at her little brother. Liam shook his head. "No, I just want to go home," he mumbled, his small voice tinged with worry. "I know, buddy, we'll get there soon," Emily promised. "Mr. Carter is helping us." Mr. Carter nodded, keeping a careful eye on the surroundings. "You're both safe with me," he said. "But I need you to listen and stay close. Can you do that?" Liam nodded, gripping Emily's hand even tighter. Emily felt a swell of relief. She knew that trust had to be built slowly, and already Liam was starting to trust the cowboy. As they walked, Mr. Carter began to ask gentle questions. "Where do you usually play, Liam? Do you like exploring the woods?" Liam looked up at him with wide eyes. "Yes, but sometimes I get scared," he admitted. "That's okay," Mr. Carter said kindly. "It's normal to be scared. Even adults get scared sometimes. The important thing is that you don't give up and you ask for help when you need it. You did that today by staying with Emily." Liam smiled faintly. Emily noticed the change in him. The fear that had clouded his face earlier was slowly replaced by a sense of safety. She felt a small spark of hope. Maybe they would really make it home safely. The road was long, and the shadows grew longer as night approached. The first stars appeared in the sky, twinkling faintly. The cowboy paused near a large oak tree, letting the children catch their breath. "You've been running a lot today," Mr. Carter said. "Why don't we rest for a few minutes? The last stretch to your home isn't far, but I want you both to be ready." Emily sat on a flat rock, holding Liam on her lap. She brushed the hair out of his face and whispered, "Almost there, little brother. We'll be home soon." Liam leaned against her, his small body trembling slightly. I was so scared, Emily. I didn't want anyone to take me, he said softly. I know, Liam, Emily whispered. I was scared too, but Mr. Carter is helping us. He won't let anything happen to us. Mr. Carter smiled, then spoke to them in a serious, calm voice. I need you both to remember something. Life can be unpredictable, and sometimes bad things happen even when we try to do everything right. But courage isn't about never being afraid. Courage is about moving forward even when you're scared. That's what you're both doing today. Emily and Liam listened, their eyes wide. They had never heard anyone speak like that before. It wasn't just words. They felt like truth, and for the first time in hours, they felt a small flicker of confidence. After resting, they continued walking. The dirt road gave way to a narrow path through a field, tall grass brushing against their legs. Emily kept Liam close, her free hand holding the cowboy's arm when the ground became uneven. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the grass nearby. Emily froze, her heart pounding. She looked at Liam, who pressed against her, his eyes wide with fear. Mr. Carter held up his hand, signaling for them to stay still. He slowly stepped forward, scanning the area. It's just a rabbit, he said finally, smiling down at the children. Nothing to worry about, see? Emily exhaled, relief washing over her. She hugged Liam tightly. See, it's okay, she whispered. Liam nodded, his small shoulders relaxing. As they walked further, Emily noticed the moon rising, casting a soft silver glow over the field. It made the shadows dance and the grass sparkle slightly. The sight was beautiful, and for a moment she forgot about the fear and worry that had consumed her earlier. Emily, Liam, Mr. Carter said, his voice calm and steady. Sometimes life throws challenges at us that we don't expect, but the way we face them shows our true strength. You two are stronger than you know. Emily felt tears prick her eyes, but this time they weren't tears of fear, they were tears of hope. She looked at Liam, whose face reflected the same emotion. The cowboy's words had given them courage they didn't know they had. The path soon led them to a small creek, its water flowing gently over smooth stones. Emily held Liam's hand tightly as they approached. The creek was slightly wider than she expected, and she hesitated. Don't worry, Mr. Carter said. We'll cross together. Just hold my hand and stay close to Emily. He stepped into the water first, testing the stones to make sure they were stable. Emily followed, helping Liam step carefully from stone to stone. The water was cold, but not too deep. Soon all three of them were safely on the other side. That wasn't so bad, was it? Mr. Carter said, smiling. Liam shook his head, a small grin spreading across his face. Not bad, he admitted. Emily laughed softly, feeling a wave of relief and joy. As they continued, Mr. Carter began to share stories about his life growing up on the ranch. He spoke of long days in the sun, learning to ride horses and helping neighbors. His stories were simple, yet full of lessons about courage, kindness, and responsibility. Emily listened intently, feeling a sense of calm settle over her. Liam, too, was captivated, forgetting his fear for a while as he followed the cowboy's words. Hours seemed to pass, though in reality it had only been a short time. Finally, the lights of the town came into view, small dots glowing in the distance. Emily's heart leapt. Home was near, and the nightmare of the day seemed almost behind them. Almost there, Mr. Carter said. Do you see those lights? That's where your home is. You're safe now. Emily squeezed Liam's hand tightly. We made it, she whispered. Liam's eyes sparkled with relief, and he hugged her tightly. But just as they were about to step onto the main road, Emily noticed a shadow moving in the distance. Her heart skipped a beat. She held Liam close, instinctively stepping behind the cowboy. Mr. Carter raised his hand again. Stay calm, I'll check it out. He moved toward the shadow cautiously. A figure emerged, a neighbor who had been looking for Liam, thinking he had wandered too far. Oh. There you are, the neighbor exclaimed, rushing toward them. I was so worried. Emily let out a shaky laugh of relief. We're okay, she said quickly, thanks to Mr. Carter. The neighbor smiled and nodded at the cowboy. You've done a good thing helping them. Emily and Liam followed Mr. Carter as he led them down the final stretch to their home. The house was small, with warm light glowing from the windows. Emily felt a surge of happiness and relief. They were safe, and the day's ordeal was almost over. Once inside, Emily made sure Liam was settled and comfortable. He hugged his favorite blanket, still exhausted but feeling secure. Emily sat beside him, brushing his hair gently. Thank you, Mr. Carter, she said softly. I don't know what we would have done without you. The cowboy nodded, a warm smile on his face. You two were brave today, remember that. Courage isn't about not being scared, it's about moving forward even when you are, and you both did that. Emily felt her heart swell. She knew the journey wasn't completely over, there would be challenges ahead, but with the cowboys' guidance, she and Liam had learned something important about bravery, trust, and hope. Before leaving, Mr. Carter gave them one last piece of advice. Always look out for each other. Stay together, help one another, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. That's the strongest thing you can do. Emily nodded, feeling the weight of his words. Liam, too, seemed to understand, resting his small head against her shoulder. As Mr. Carter rode away into the night, Emily watched him go, knowing that he had left a lasting impression on their lives. She hugged Liam tightly, whispering, "We'll be okay. We can face anything now." The stars shone brightly above, and the wind carried a sense of peace. For the first time since the day began, Emily felt a deep, comforting sense of safety. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but with courage and love, they could face anything together. And with that thought, Emily and Liam finally allowed themselves to rest, safe in their home, under the watchful eye of the stars. The night had grown quiet, but Emily couldn't sleep. She kept glancing at Liam, who lay curled up under his blanket, breathing softly. Though he seemed peaceful, she knew the fear of the day hadn't fully left him. She pressed a hand to her chest and whispered a small prayer of thanks for Mr. Carter, the cowboy who had rescued them. Without him, she shivered to think where they might have been or what could have happened. Early the next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, painting the room in warm gold. Emily woke Liam gently. "Time to get ready," she said softly. "Today we'll try to go out safely with Mr. Carter." Liam rubbed his eyes sleepily and nodded. He didn't speak much, but Emily could see in his small expression a mix of trust and cautious excitement. The memory of the creek, the shadows, and the unknown dangers from yesterday were still fresh, but he wanted to follow Emily. He wanted to be brave. Outside, the air was crisp, carrying the smell of fresh earth and morning dew. Emily led Liam down the steps of their small home where Mr. Carter was already waiting beside his horse. He tipped his hat at them with a kind smile. "Good morning, both of you," he said. "Ready for today?" Emily nodded. "Yes, sir. We want to learn how to be careful and stay safe." "Good," Mr. Carter said. "Today, I'll show you how to be aware of your surroundings, how to handle little surprises, and most importantly, how to trust each other. The world can be unpredictable, but you two can be ready for it." Emily and Liam exchanged a glance. They were nervous but eager. Emily held her brother's hand and followed the cowboy down the narrow path toward the fields. The first lesson began quickly. As they approached a bend in the road, Mr. Carter stopped. "Look around carefully," he instructed. "Notice the sounds, the smells, everything you can see. Awareness is the first step to staying safe." Emily looked around. She noticed the way the wind made the tall grass sway, how the birds flitted from tree to tree, and how the sunlight reflected off the dew on the leaves. Liam bent down and sniffed the air, listening to the small chirps and rustling. "Good," Mr. Carter said approvingly. "You're paying attention. That's the kind of awareness that can keep you safe." After a few minutes of walking, a sudden sound made both children jump. A branch cracked under someone or something walking nearby. Emily clutched Liam's hand tightly. "Stay calm, Mr. Carter said, moving ahead carefully. "It's probably just a deer." Sure enough, a small deer leapt across the path and disappeared into the woods. Emily exhaled, relieved, while Liam giggled quietly. "It's just an animal," he whispered. Mr. Carter smiled. "See. Sometimes surprises aren't dangerous, but it's always good to be aware so you know how to react." As they continued their journey, the cowboy taught them how to navigate tricky terrain. They came upon a small stream, shallow but slippery with moss on the stones. Emily took a deep breath. "We can do this," she told Liam. He nodded, though he looked a little scared. "Step carefully," Mr. Carter instructed. "Trust your footing and hold hands. Help each other." Emily led the way, placing her feet carefully on the stones. Liam followed, and together they crossed the stream safely. When they reached the other side, they both laughed in relief, feeling a small sense of accomplishment. "See," Mr. Carter said, "even scary things can be managed when you stay calm and help each other." The morning passed with more lessons. Mr. Carter showed them how to read signs in the environment, broken twigs, footprints, rustling leaves that could indicate potential dangers. He taught them how to stay visible to each other, how to avoid places that might be risky, and how to signal for help if needed. Emily noticed how much Liam was learning. His eyes were bright, full of curiosity, and he even started pointing out small details before Emily could. She felt proud of him, and she realized that facing fear together made them stronger as a team. Around midday, the group reached a hill that overlooked the small town. From there they could see their home in the distance, smoke curling from the chimney, and the familiar shapes of trees around their yard. Emily felt a warm rush of happiness. They had made it safely this far, and the town looked peaceful from above. Mr. Carter stopped and let the children rest. "From this point you can see the bigger picture," he said. "Sometimes life feels confusing, but if you step back and look carefully, you can understand more than you think. Always remember to take a moment and observe before acting." Emily and Liam listened carefully, their minds absorbing every word. The lessons weren't just about safety. They were about thinking, planning, and having courage even when things seemed difficult. After a short break, they began the descent toward the town. The path was steeper here, and Emily had to hold Liam's hand tightly as they walked slowly. She felt his small fingers gripping hers tightly, trusting her to keep him safe. She realized how much responsibility she carried, and how important it was to remain calm and steady. Suddenly they heard voices from the edge of the road. Two men were approaching, carrying tools and looking curious. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know if the men were friendly or not, and she squeezed Liam's hand. "Stay calm," Mr. Carter whispered. "I'll handle this." He stepped forward confidently, his presence commanding attention. The men paused and looked at him, then at the children. "These kids are with me," Mr. Carter said in a firm but polite voice. "We're just heading home." The men looked at each other, then nodded. "All right," one of them said. "Stay safe, then." Emily exhaled, relief flooding through her. She hugged Liam tightly. "See, we're okay," she whispered. Liam nodded, his small fear easing. As they continued, the town grew closer and the streets became familiar. They passed neighbors who waved at them, curious about the trio. Emily felt a small sense of pride, knowing that she and Liam were learning and growing through this experience. When they finally reached their home, Emily's heart soared. The house looked welcoming, and for the first time in what felt like forever, she felt completely safe. Liam ran ahead and hugged their small dog, who barked happily, sensing that his little family was safe. Mr. Carter watched with a warm smile. "You both did well today," he said. "Not just with the walking and crossing streams, but with staying calm, paying attention, and helping each other. That's the most important part." Emily nodded, feeling proud of herself and her brother. She realized that courage wasn't about never being afraid. It was about facing fear together and trusting someone who cared for you. Before leaving, Mr. Carter knelt down to their level. "Remember this day," he said. "Not because of what was scary, but because of what you learned about yourselves. You're braver than you think, and together you can handle challenges. Never forget that." Emily felt tears of gratitude fill her eyes. She hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Mr. Carter." "We won't forget." Liam joined in, smiling shyly. "Thanks," he said quietly. Mr. Carter patted their heads and then mounted his horse. "Keep helping each other, stay aware, and remember, courage grows every time you face challenges. I'll see you around." As he rode away, Emily and Liam watched him disappear down the road. They felt a mixture of relief and inspiration. Today had been full of lessons, challenges, and small victories, but they had made it safely home, stronger and more confident than before. That evening, as the sun set again, Emily sat beside Liam and reflected on the day. They had faced fear, crossed streams, navigated rough paths, and encountered strangers. Each challenge had taught them something important about courage, trust, and teamwork. Emily realized that life could be unpredictable, but together they could handle whatever came their way. She hugged Liam close and whispered, "We did it, little brother, we really did it." Liam smiled sleepily and rested his head on her shoulder. "We're brave," he said softly. "Yes," Emily whispered, "and we'll keep being brave together." Outside, the stars began to appear again, bright and steady in the darkening sky. The world felt peaceful, and for the first time since the ordeal began, Emily allowed herself to relax completely. She knew there would be more challenges in the future, but with courage, awareness, and trust, she and Liam could face anything. And so, the siblings settled in for the night, hearts lighter and spirits stronger, carrying with them the lessons of the day and the memory of the cowboy who had shown them the true meaning of bravery. The morning sun filtered gently through the curtains of Emily and Liam's small house, bringing warmth to the room. For the first time in days, the siblings woke feeling safe, without fear pressing on their chests. Emily looked at Liam, who was still half asleep, his small hands clutching his favorite blanket. She smiled softly. The events of the past few days had been frightening, but they had learned so much about courage, trust, and each other. Outside, birds chirped and the world seemed calm, almost peaceful. Emily knew that while yesterday had been full of lessons, today would be about putting those lessons into practice. She whispered to Liam, "We need to stay careful, but we can do it. We've learned how." Liam nodded, rubbing his eyes. "I feel brave today," he said softly, a small smile spreading across his face. Emily's heart warmed at his words. Seeing him regain his confidence gave her hope and strength. Soon there was a knock at the door. Emily hurried to open it and found Mr. Carter, the cowboy, standing there with his usual calm, reassuring presence. He tipped his hat at them and smiled. "Good morning, Emily. Good morning, Liam," he said. "Ready to continue our lessons?" Emily nodded eagerly. "Yes, sir. We want to learn everything we can to stay safe and help each other." Mr. Carter's eyes softened as he looked at them. "Very good. Today we'll focus on facing small challenges together and understanding how teamwork makes you stronger. Are you ready?" Liam's small voice spoke up. "I'm ready," he said firmly. They stepped outside together. The sun shone brightly, the wind carrying the sweet scent of grass and wildflowers. Emily held Liam's hand tightly, grateful for his trust and determination. "Mr. Carter led them toward a nearby open field, the tall grass brushing against their legs as they walked. "Remember what we talked about yesterday," Mr. Carter said. "Awareness, trust, and courage. Keep those in mind as we move forward." Emily and Liam nodded, their eyes scanning the surroundings carefully. They remembered the creek, the shadows, and the sounds of the woods. They knew now that even small details could matter, and staying alert was important. As they reached the center of the field, Mr. Carter stopped. "Here's your first challenge," he said, pointing to a fallen log lying across the ground. "We need to cross it without falling. Think carefully and help each other." Emily studied the log. It was wide enough to walk on, but slightly uneven and slippery with morning dew. She turned to Liam. "We can do this together," she said. "I'll go first and you follow me slowly." Liam nodded, a mix of excitement and nervousness in his eyes. Emily stepped carefully onto the log, feeling it shift slightly beneath her weight. She kept her arms steady, focusing on balance. Liam followed, Emily holding his hand and guiding him step by step. When they reached the other side safely, they both laughed in relief. "We did it," Emily exclaimed. Liam grinned, his small chest swelling with pride. "Exactly," Mr. Carter said. "You faced the challenge together, stayed calm, and helped each other. That's how courage works. It's not just about being brave alone, it's about helping and trusting those around you." After a short break, they continued walking across the fields toward the small woods near their town. Mr. Carter pointed out different signs in nature, footprints in the soil, broken branches, and bird movements. "These signs tell a story," he explained. "If you know how to read them, you can understand your surroundings better and make safer choices." Emily listened carefully, absorbing every word. Liam, too, was focused, pointing out small things he noticed. "A rabbit ran over here," he said, excitement lighting up his face. "Good observation," Mr. Carter said. "That's exactly what I mean." Notice small details. They help you understand the bigger picture. As they entered the woods, Emily felt a small shiver. The trees cast long shadows, and the sounds of the birds and wind created an almost magical atmosphere. But she held Liam's hand tightly and remembered the lessons from the past days. Together, they could face anything. Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound nearby. Emily froze, and Liam squeezed her hand. Mr. Carter held up his hand, signaling them to stay calm. Slowly, he stepped toward the sound. Out of the bushes popped a small fox, its bright eyes curious but not threatening. Emily exhaled in relief, and Liam giggled softly. "See," Mr. Carter said. "Sometimes what surprises you isn't dangerous. But staying alert helps you be ready for anything." The trio continued through the woods, practicing teamwork and careful observation. Mr. Carter gave them small tasks, like identifying safe paths, pointing out signs of animals, and helping each other across tricky spots. Emily and Liam followed his instructions carefully, growing more confident with each step. Eventually, they reached a small hill overlooking their town. From this high point, Emily could see her home, their small yard, and the familiar streets that led to their friends and neighbors. She felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. They had traveled far, faced challenges, and learned to trust and support each other. "Look at that," Mr. Carter said, pointing toward their home. "This is your goal, but remember, reaching your goal safely isn't just about getting there. It's about how you move, how you watch for challenges, and how you help each other along the way." Emily looked at Liam. "We did it together," she said softly. "We really did it." "Yes," Liam replied, a smile lighting up his small face. "We're brave now." Mr. Carter nodded approvingly. "You've learned well, but the final lesson is about kindness and understanding. You never know when someone else might need help. Just like I helped you, you can help others. That's what makes courage and bravery meaningful." Emily and Liam listened, feeling the weight of his words. They thought about how they had felt frightened and alone, and how much it had meant to have someone there for them. They promised themselves they would help others whenever they could, just like Mr. Carter had helped them. As they descended the hill toward their home, they encountered a small group of children playing near the edge of the field. One of the children had tripped and fallen, scraping a knee. Emily immediately ran over with Liam. "Are you okay?" Emily asked gently. The child nodded but winced in pain. Liam helped gather some leaves while Emily comforted the child. Soon, the child was smiling again, and Emily realized that the lessons they had learned about courage, teamwork, and kindness could be applied to others too. Mr. Carter watched quietly from a short distance, smiling to himself. "See," he said softly, "you're already helping others. That's the final and most important lesson." When they reached their home, Emily and Liam felt a wave of relief and accomplishment. Their parents had been worried but now smiled, seeing how brave and confident their children had become. Emily hugged Liam tightly. "We made it," she whispered. "We're safe." Liam hugged her back. "Thanks to Mr. Carter," he said softly. Emily nodded. "Yes, thanks to him." She looked out the window as Mr. Carter rode away on his horse, disappearing into the distance. She felt a mixture of gratitude and admiration for the cowboy who had guided them, taught them, and kept them safe. That evening, as the stars filled the sky, Emily and Liam sat together on the porch. They talked about the day's lessons, about courage, awareness, and helping others. They laughed softly, remembering the creek, the log, the fox, and all the small challenges they had faced. Emily realized that the world could be unpredictable, but with courage, trust, and kindness, they could face anything. She felt proud of Liam, proud of herself, and grateful for the guidance of someone who had shown them the way. As they went to bed that night, Emily whispered to Liam, "No matter what happens, we'll stay together. We'll be brave and we'll help others too." Liam nodded sleepily. "Together," he murmured. And with that, the siblings drifted into a peaceful sleep, hearts full of hope, courage, and the memory of the cowboy who had changed their lives forever. From that day on, Emily and Liam faced each challenge with a new strength. They remembered the lessons of awareness, trust, teamwork, and kindness. They knew that bravery wasn't the absence of fear. It was the choice to move forward, help each other, and face the unknown with courage. And in their hearts, they carried the promise of the cowboy's words, that courage, kindness, and trust were the most powerful tools anyone could have, and that no challenge was too great when faced together. The stars shone brightly over the quiet town, and in the small house on the edge of the fields, two siblings slept soundly, safe, and ready for whatever the next day might bring.